Taiwan feels the cost of living crunch as inflation reaches a 9-month high. Taiwan's election candidates pitched their solutions to Taiwan's worryingly low birth rate. We investigate how solar activity and climate change are intensifying unusual winter storms, turning them into super typhoons. Plus,
what do these furry friends have to do with censorship? We take a look at the alpaca's political significance.
Welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Leslie Liao with 30 minutes of the latest. Thanks for tuning in. Inflation in Taiwan has hit a 9-month high. As Rick Loud reports, the rising cost of living has become a hot political issue.
Across Taiwan, small businesses like this one are struggling, feeling the heat from rising prices.
那以糖跟奶油来讲，大概都提高20%到30%。好，那涨最凶可能还是鸡蛋，大概有3到4成左右。我们会尽力吸收这个成本。
Taiwan's Consumer Price Index, or CPI, rose more than 3% in October, the biggest jump in 9 months.
受到台风带来豪雨的影响，蔬菜及水果的价格呢持续走高。二者合计就影响10月 CPI 总指数0.63个百分点。那另外呢，油料费的涨幅4.34%。也比较大一点点。
It's not just the weather pushing up prices. The war in Ukraine has caused fuel prices to jump and prompted inflation across many countries.
全球依然处于高通膨跟高利率的环境，而且中国大陆的经济也还没有摆脱疲软的态势，国际间的地缘政治等等种种的不确定因素都还持续在酝酿或是升高。
With 2 months to go before the national elections, the rising cost of living here has become a hot political issue, with presidential candidates offering solutions like rent subsidies, utility price freezes and minimum wage hikes in a bid to secure votes from households feeling the pinch. Klein Wang and Rick Lauert for TaiwanPlus.
President Tsai Ing-wen says the people of Taiwan are determined to protect their freedoms and democracy. Tsai was speaking at the 2023 Taipei Security Dialogue hosted by a Taiwanese think tank. Guests include U.S. and Japanese scholars. Taiwan is trying to strengthen its military capabilities in the face of threats from China. Tsai says Taiwan has been particularly challenged by frequent incursions into its air defense identification zone and military exercises near the country.
We have also had to face economic coercion and persistent cyber attacks. Taken as a whole, these hybrid tactics are designed to deplete Taiwanese people's confidence in our democracy and to undermine our resolve to defend ourselves.
Taiwan's military says it's working with the United States to speed up the delivery of backlog weapons orders. The Defense Ministry was responding to a recent report from Washington think tank the Cato Institute, which says the U.S. owes Taiwan more than $19 billion worth of military hardware. It found that over 60% of that is traditional equipment like F-16 fighter jets, while the rest is asymmetric weaponry and ammunition. The U.S. is Taiwan's largest weapons supplier. In recent years, it has repeatedly urged Taiwan to prioritize smaller mobile arms that can fend off a possible Chinese attack. Taiwan's Foreign Minister Joseph Wu is on a visit to the Baltic states amid signs of warming ties with these European countries. It follows news that Taiwan could soon open its first representative office in Estonia. For more on this, our reporter Jeremy Olivier spoke with Frank Uris, a researcher at the University of Tallinn in Estonia.
What's the significance of Taiwanese Foreign Minister Joseph Wu's trip to the Baltic states?
I think both Minister Wu's visit to Baltic states and the Baltic states Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee's chairman joint visit to Taiwan just late in the summer, both significant. And I think they are significant if you take into consideration the overall environment. There is ongoing war in Ukraine, and we have witnessed increasingly assertive China, especially in its own neighborhood. And as China and Russia have increased their cooperation and coordination, I think there is every reason for like-minded countries around the world, in Europe and in East Asia, to increase their coordination and cooperation as well.
Why now is there a greater interest among Baltic states in improving their relations with Taiwan?
The rules-based world order is on a historic high pressure, both from China and Russia. As we have seen, the war in Ukraine has brought together European countries in supporting Ukraine. And not only European countries, also East Asian countries have stepped in. Taiwan has been vocal and supporting Ukraine, and so has Japan. And I think we cannot divide global security issues into merely being a problem of European countries or East Asian countries. The more united we stand, the better chances we have in protecting rules-based world order and providing for our communities and the security needs of our societies.
We know that Taiwan has a lot to offer these countries, particularly in terms of chip tech and know-how, but what, on the other hand, can they offer Taiwan?
Taiwan is well known around the world in its impressive capabilities in hardware. Estonia, for instance, has the most startups per capita, so we are known for our software capabilities. So I think there is every reason for us to cooperate, especially when it comes to the technology sector and also beyond it. And at the same time, we can share our experience in building resilience against potential threats coming from Russia, be it societal resilience or reforming the conscription system that Taiwan is currently evaluating or considering.
That was Frank Uris, a researcher at Tallinn University, speaking with TaiwanPlus reporter Jeremy Olivier. Taiwan's stubbornly low birth rate is back in the spotlight on the 2024 campaign trail. With just over 2 months until the election, 3 of the 4 candidates now have platforms on the issue. But as John Van Triest reports, this critical problem may not be at the top of voters' minds.
There's an existential crisis facing Taiwan, and it isn't the Chinese military. Taiwan's on course to overtake South Korea as the country with the world's lowest birth rate. The way things are going, the population could halve by 2070. Taiwan's presidential hopefuls say they can bring the country back from this cliff edge. The latest to speak on the birth rate is the Taiwan People's Party's Ko Wen-je. In his view, the big solution is cultural, reversing a trend of not getting married. But he backs short-term fixes too. Immigration, legalizing surrogacy, and now financial help for parents.
怀孕满3个月给5万。 生出来给10万，然后这个减税，你知道哈，一胎减12万哦，可以到12岁，目前是只有5岁。那另外是育儿津贴哦，从5岁延长到12岁。
With the demographic crisis looming, Ke's 3 rivals have also weighed in. The most detailed plans come from the DPP's Lai Ching-de, who's focused on better access to childcare, and from the KMT's Ho Yo-i, who sees paying women to freeze their eggs and more maternity leave pay as solutions. Independent Terry Guo has suggested giving free pets to parents. But in a previous run for president, he also backed paying families per child. If the population keeps aging at this rate, Taiwan will find itself with a shortage of workers, a hollowed-out military, and an already strained medical system stretched to its limits. But as serious as all this is, some analysts don't see it changing voters' behavior.
I think party line and loyalties is what will take precedent because this is a long-term issue that Taiwan faces structurally. And so it's not something that either party can change overnight immediately. It's more of these long-term issues regarding independence versus unification, let's say.
Whatever the outcome of the vote, the chance to stop a population crunch is slipping away. And the winning candidate's decisions on the issue will decide how well Taiwan is able to keep going into the coming decades. Luffy Lee and John Van Triest for TaiwanPlus.
An increase in off-season super typhoons has been linked to solar activity and climate change. Reporter Reese Ayers has the story.
Strong winds and torrential downpours are common in the summer here in Asia. But severe winter typhoons are much rarer. They do happen, however, sometimes with disastrous effects. This week commemorates 10 years since Super Typhoon Haiyan killed over 6,000 people in the Philippines, one of the strongest storms to ever make landfall, particularly surprising as it struck in November. A recent study suggests that solar activity could be making winter storms bigger.
我们地球所有能量几乎都是来自太阳，那这个黑黑的如果越多的时候，代表它当时给地球的能量就会比较高。那这个有个周期，就是11年。
The study looked at 402 off-season super typhoons recorded over about 70 years and found a strong relationship between solar activity and winter storms. But sunspots aren't the only things making typhoons more intense.
By the definition, we can say right now is El Nino. It will be happen, and it will continue to next May to next June or next early summer. So that means, traditionally, we will think it will be have a warm winter in most of the area, especially in Asia, and lots of the extreme weather will happen.
Increases in global sea temperatures also help storms grow to unprecedented sizes, a direct result of human activity resulting in climate change.
If we did not have a carbon reduction action more actively and more seriously, and we will meet more super typhoon in the future.
Many factors, including sunspot cycles, El Nino, and rising sea temperatures, may mean that places like Taiwan could be facing more and stronger super typhoons all year round. James Lin and Rees for TaiwanPlus.
Alpacas are hugely popular in Taiwan, even though this relative of the llama is native to the other side of the world. Sally Ensign takes a look at whether it's simply a case of cuteness.
Rolling around in the dirt, these woolly creatures are drying themselves out in the tropical humidity. Native to the dry South American Andes on the other side of the world, alpacas are becoming a common sight in Taiwan, but purely for amusement.
他们应该要是在高海拔的地方。那他们来台湾的话，夏天其实会太热，那我们就会帮它剃毛。然后有一些比较温驯的个体，它的毛会剃得非常的漂亮。
It's unknown exactly how many alpacas there are in Taiwan now, but they can be spotted across the country at cafes and petting zoos. These resilient creatures are adapted to life at high altitudes, but they're also happy grazing in Taiwan's tropical climate. Perhaps surprisingly, they've taken Taiwan by storm, and not just because they're cute. In Mandarin, these camelids are colloquially known as Tao Ni Ma, or grass mud horse, which sounds phonetically similar to an obscenity we can't say on public television. It's a term that's been censored in China after it was used in a subversive song criticizing the Communist Party. It was also popularized by the dissident artist and activist Ai Weiwei.
Everybody knows that an alpaca meme actually refers to the protesting attitude toward the state's censorship nowadays.
In Taiwan, the alpaca's popularity is in part due to this cheeky double meaning that got it banned by its authoritarian neighbor.
之前好像有影片，就是在中国啊，或者是在台湾有一些影片，就是因为他们会在地上滚，他们就叫它草泥马。然后其实这个词在台湾算是一个脏话，然后大家就它叫这个名字，好有趣哦，然后就想来看他们。
It was this satirical humor that raised eyebrows when an alpaca appeared alongside prominent Taiwanese politicians. But linguistically speaking, China and Taiwan curse differently, and Taiwan's more liberal society means the grass mud horse meme may not have the same subversive impact on this side of the strait.
Taiwanese people do not experience the same kind of a strict censorship as the Chinese netizens experienced. So I guess the political meaning of an alpaca is not really relevant to Taiwanese people's everyday life.
No, Nami.
For Taiwan's alpaca enthusiasts, the main reason for coming to see them is nature education and fun.
我们就是全家一起来玩。
因为 它们长得很可爱，很像棉花。
如果来这边的话，它就是可以，就是很轻松可以接触到这些动物。对，所以从让他们小时候可以就是跟大自然做接触。
The grass mud horse meme is already much older than many of these visitors and the alpacas. But with their popularity in Taiwan showing no signs of diminishing, the dirty words cheeky playfulness may be here to stay. John Su and Sally Jensen in Hsinchu County for TaiwanPlus.
The thunder from down under arrives in Taipei. Find out how these Aussie hunks are helping with Taiwan's stray dog problem.
In the face of adversity, the power of truth.
A roadmap for a just and open world, charted by the freest country in Asia.
Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
TaiwanPlus News, a voice of freedom in Asia.
For more stories from here in Manzu and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app.
We bring you stories from Taiwan.
Every day of the week.
Our reporters travel the nation.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
News from here in Taiwan and around the world.
What's up, Taiwan? On TaiwanPlus.
Welcome back. After that short break, you're watching TaiwanPlus News. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has thanked Group of 7 representatives for their support and cooperation in the Israel-Hamas war. Foreign ministers from the G7 countries are meeting in Japan to discuss the conflict in Gaza and to provide further assistance to Ukraine. Blinken says it is important for the allies to come together in the face of crisis and to speak with one clear voice. The two-day meeting wraps up on Wednesday, with leaders expected to make a joint statement at the end of the talks. South Korea has set up a response team to contain a spate of bedbug infestations. At least 17 outbreaks have been reported in Seoul, Busan, and Incheon, prompting authorities to invest some $380,000 to tackle the problem. The outbreaks have caused public concern, with some South Koreans avoiding cinemas and public transportation to steer clear of the blood-sucking insects. Outbreaks were recently recorded in France and the UK. A Taiwanese police investigation that has concluded that media personality Aaron Yen took inappropriate videos of minors. It says Yen filmed and distributed sexual encounters with underage teenagers on his phone. The boy band singer and talk show host now faces charges under Taiwan's child sexual exploitation laws. Yen says he is taking the investigation seriously and cooperating with authorities. Earlier this year, Yen's ex-boyfriend, YouTuber Raku, accused Yen of sexual assault when he was a minor. Prosecutors dismissed this case, citing a lack of evidence. The accusation is one of many to come to light in recent years in what has become known as Taiwan's Me Too movement. Taiwan's oldest city can officially hang with the cool kids. Tainan, in the country's south, has appeared on National Geographic's cool list of the most exciting places to visit in 2024. The city is Taiwan's original capital and is marking its 400th anniversary next year. It's known locally as a foodie's paradise, with street food classics like eel noodles, tofu pudding, and, as Andrew Ryan explains, tomatoes with a Tainan twist.
Old barbershops turned into slow travel destinations, Taiwan's only remaining salt fields, and a gastronomic capital with a decidedly sweet tooth. These are just some of the things you'll find in Tainan. Everywhere you turn in Tainan, there are traces of history. It is, after all, the oldest city on the main island of Taiwan. Now, I assumed that my tour would begin with a historic spot, But my host has something else in mind. For the first stop in our trip to Tainan, the mayor has arranged for us to meet at a fruit store. But apparently it's not just a place to buy fruit, it's also been a popular local hangout for more than 70 years. 您今天带我们来的这个地方是什么地方？
这个地方就是我们台南很多文化荟萃的地方，还有最好吃的在这边，就是我们隔壁的丽丽冰果室啊。
Many of the fruits they sell at the store are grown right here in Tainan. The city is home to some of the nation's biggest fruit exports, like pineapples, mangoes, and avocados. They also grow more pomelos here than any other place in Taiwan.
我们台南人很好客，所以这些通通都给你吃，没关系。
谢谢市长准备。
中秋节要吃这个了。
OK，
是这个 pomelo。
有2种。
你可以先吃红色的。
OK。
因为这个时候白色的比较甜。怎么样？
酸酸甜甜的。
对，
很好吃。Tainan is known as the gastronomic capital of Taiwan. Many of the local dishes, even the savory ones, are sweeter here than in other parts of the country. And there's a reason for that. Tainan was once a big producer of sugarcane, and people came to associate sweet foods with wealth. But imagine my surprise to learn that they even dip their tomatoes in sugar.
因为台南有很多 sauce。
OK， 这个 sauce 里面是什么呢？
糖吧。
糖、白糖，然后姜。好像也有梅子粉，对不对？
梅子粉有，你也可以直接沾梅子粉，也可以加水、加白糖，
然后还有酱油膏。哇，好吃，真的很特别，这个真的跟我们台北吃的不太一样了啊。The fruit shop's owner, Li Wenxiong, says they've been eating tomatoes like this for as long as he can remember. Li has been collecting interesting facts about fruit for years, publishing his own monthly brochure full of pictures, stories, and local history. Back in the day, he says, the fruit shop was a popular hangout. People would even come here on blind dates.
朋友来，拢会来这吃水果啊。这嘛咖啡厅满四界，较早拢会来开市店。
Fruit stores like this one still play an important role in the lives of the Tainan people. They may no longer come here to find love, but after 70 years, they still come here for their shared love of fruit. Justin Wu, Scott Huang, Peachy Drong, and Andrew Ryan for TaiwanPlus.
Now you can find part 2 and more episodes in the series on our website at TaiwanPlus.com. A group of Australian firefighters has arrived in Taiwan, and as Sandy Chi reports, they're here not to put out fires, but to help stray dogs find new homes.
Taiwan.
Dogs and firefighters. They have different uses for a hydrant. But at this photo shoot in Taiwan, they've come together for a common cause and are on the same page. Literally, for the 2025 Australian Firefighters calendar. Though still over a year away, you can feel the heat and passion already in the air.
So I've been a firefighter for 6 years now, and I've been doing the Australian Firefighters calendar for 3 years. So I took a couple of years just to get my get my confidence up, but now I'm so thankful to be part of this this charity organisation.
These firefighters are in active service, putting out fires and saving lives back home. And this extra calendar duty offers them a different way to help society.
You meet a whole heap of other really fun guys from around the country as well, and it's a good opportunity to give back. So, as you know, all of the calendars, we raise money for a number of different charities. We give away to supporting a lot of animals, a lot of youth, a lot of hospitals as well. It's just a great cause.
The Australian Firefighters calendar was launched in 1993, originally to raise money to send a team to the World Firefighters Games. But that spark turned into a blaze, and its popularity has since become unquenchable. To date, the organization has donated over $2 million to charities all over Australia, proving that beneath the firefighters' perfect pecs, there's a whole lot of heart.
Firefighters are very compassionate people. So if it's a human or a dog or a cat, it doesn't matter. They love and are very involved in everything we do. So it's a natural transition from looking after human lives to animal lives. So it's no problem at all.
Today, 10 firefighters are here at PAC, an animal shelter in Taipei that houses around 200 dogs. They hope to help some of the dogs find loving owners and raise awareness of the situation they face.
就是我们的人跟他们有认识、有接洽到，然后有提到说，因为今年也会在台湾贩售这样子的月历，然后有提到说，这是一个 good idea， 然后所以希望说可以帮助更多的台湾的 shelter animals.
PAC specially chose the dogs that would be featured in the next calendar. Several of them have injuries from illegal hunting traps, which the shelter says are a serious problem in Taiwan.
Sometimes when you'll be with a rescue dog and the handler will tell you the dog's story, it's very hard not to be involved and to want to help out. So that's what motivates me and here today.
Through its collaboration with Firefighters, PAC hopes the 2025 calendar will kindle a flame of compassion for people to give one of their dogs a permanent home, 365 days a year. Leon Lian and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
And that just about does it for this edition of TaiwanPlus News. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, please consider downloading the TaiwanPlus app or visiting our social media or website. Finally today, take a look at these traditional horseback fishers in Belgium. They say climate change is impacting their catch. I'm Leslie Liao signing off. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Taiwan Plus. For more stories from the Pacific nation of Tuvalu and around the world, download the Taiwan Plus app. Yay!